Hey there. So, are we working? Hold on. Okay. So, today we are going to be, hold on, let me just get my mic so I can hear it. There we go. So today what we're going to be doing is we are going to be tuning up some Penrose presets. So I've been working on a few for specific games, but today we're going to be working on, I think I might try Escape from Tarkov. I don't actually have access to the closed beta at the moment, but we can take a listen to some videos and do some tuning on that game. Call of Duty Warzone, obviously, have had a lot of requests for that, so we're going to be taking a look as well at that game, and probably we'll do Overwatch, and then maybe if we have time, we'll do another game. But this is going to basically be just tuning Penrose EQ presets. So if y'all have questions about how I'm going about doing that, or specific games that you'd like to see tuned up, definitely ask me about that. And for sure, we will answer your questions, and I'll also talk a little bit as I am doing this. So as you can see here, I've got the Audeze HQ app up. Let me just get rid of this. And it's a 4K monitor, so I apologize about it being a little small. But we've basically got flat Penrose EQ. And I'm just going to listen to some game audio. I'm going to play a little bit of some different things, and we're going to tune up some presets for them. So I think for the first one, I would actually really like to start with Escape from Tarkov. So what we're going to do, actually, since I don't have access to the closed beta, unfortunately, is we're going to head to YouTube and we're going to find some game audio clips. This is actually something I do quite commonly when I'm tuning EQ presets for Penrose anyways, because it's helpful to not have to switch in and out of the game to adjust your Penrose settings. So this is just how I do it. Cool. This one looks like it's in-game audio only. So let's just mute that. And let's take a listen. So obviously I'm listening for, all the great audio cues. But one thing I'm keeping in mind, oops, that's not the tab I wanted. One thing I'm keeping in mind as well during this process is that I want these presets to be usable for people who are maybe playing these games competitively, right? So, hey, how are you doing? I don't know how to say that name. 1GBT. 1GB SK, I don't know. But I'm doing well, thank you. So I don't know if you caught that. It looks like we've had a couple people going in and out. But basically, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be tuning up some Penrose EQ presets for specific games. The first one we're starting with is Escape from Tarkov, which has kind of become quite popular in the Twitch streaming space and for esports players. And I've been working on some, but we're going to do some that are totally fresh this time. And yeah, I'm just going to shut up now and take a listen and do some tuning. And I'll talk about what I'm doing as I'm tuning it. If you guys have questions, please jump in, ask them. That's always part of what makes these streams so much fun. Swirling in the left ear of Penrose X. Yeah, so what you're going to want to do, actually, if you look here, is go to the firmware tab and plug in your Penrose via USB-C. Make sure the dongle's unplugged and update the firmware. That should fix the issue. Hello, Pavel. Nice to see you. Let's skip to some game audio. Oh yeah, 1 GB. Yeah. Nice. I remember leet speak. I'm dating myself. Yeah. So that should fix it. If that doesn't fix it, please get in touch with support. There may be, there may be something wrong with yours or something like that, but it should fix it. The firmware update should take care of all that. So the first thing I notice about this game, can you guys hear it? Let me make sure the desktop audio is hearable. Yeah, hold on. Sorry, let me make sure that you guys can hear the desktop. Yeah, so we actually work with HyperX. We make the drivers for them. That is, oh, that's just my voice playing twice. Hold on. Yeah, so we make the drivers for the HyperX Orbit. They're the same drivers as Mobius, basically. So yeah, that is part of the Audeze family, essentially. Sorry, oh, here we go. I gotta loop back, and then normally I do this with my interface because I have a kind of a funky setup here with trying to get audio so you guys can all hear it. Army mix amp, there we go. So we don't want to hear that, or no, we want to, sorry, we want to loop it back. Loop back, there we go. Okay, let's try this now. Properties, AES, and then we need to set this to AES, and we should be, okay, so now you guys can hear it and I can't hear it, which means that I need to add desktop audio to monitor and output. Oh, and I still can't hear it. Oh, because the LCD3 does the plugin worker and for all PC audio. Unfortunately, if you're talking about the NVIDIA, or not NVIDIA broadcast, if you're talking about the Reveal Plus, unless you have a VST plugin host for all of your Windows audio, which there are some that exist, I've never used them, but you can try them. You can use one of those to affect all of the audio on your PC at the same time. Otherwise, unfortunately, the answer is no to that. Hold on, I'm going to grab aux cable real quick. Okay, so now let me see if this works. Properties, AES, okay. And we're going to want the phones to have mic input, first of all. That's helpful. And then we're also going to want the phones to have input from the normally I have this all sorted out beforehand. Sorry guys, I don't typically use the Penrose to stream, which is my fault, not yours, but here we go. Okay, so there's that. I can hear it through the headphone output of the, and then we can set this to monitor and output through the properties. I'm blind, I can't see anything today. Analog 9 and 10 output of the joys of audio routing for streaming. Yes, hello K9. Today is going to be a fun day. I typically don't use the Penrose for streaming and trying to get it to gunk around. I just want you guys to be able to hear this audio so you can hear what I'm doing, because I can imagine it might be rather boring if you weren't. Hold on. Yeah, okay, there we go. So it's on aux now, and I'm on 11 and 12, and we should have default desktop audio coming through. Whoops. coming through. Oh, okay. Well, this one's set right, so I'm just gonna run with it. Ooh, that's loud. Hold on. Let me see if this works. Oh, wow. Sorry about blowing your eardrums out, everyone. Let me turn that down. Okay, there we go. Ah! So loud. Let's turn that down. A lot. Okay. Yeah, so the first thing I notice is this game has really loud audio. You can't hear it. Okay, can you hear it now? Is that routing out? Let me see. Oh, I see. There we go. Okay, you guys should be able to hear it now. Let me know if you can't. You still can't hear it? What? I'm getting levels in OBS, I swear. Okay, hold on. Default, advanced audio properties. Oh, you can hear it now. Okay, cool. Good. The stream lags behind a little bit sometimes. Okay, cool. So now we're live. Now we're doing the thing. And like I said, the first thing I noticed is this game is loud as heck. So Escape from Tarkov, if you're not familiar with it, is supposed to have like super hyper realistic audio. There's no HUD. It's very like gritty. Let's turn this up. Oh, it's already on 1080. Okay. It's supposed to be like super hyper realistic, gritty. Lots of like actually recorded gun sounds and ambient sounds. So you can hear lots of background noise and wind and stuff like that. So the first thing I'm going to do, honestly, is just turn the treble down a bit. Because that's way loud. And this 4 kilohertz band is like, if stuff's really ear piercing, that's a band you're going to want to pay a lot of attention to when you're EQing stuff, because it's going to be where our ears are very sensitive at that frequency. So it's going to be where you're going to hear a lot of stuff that you're like, oh, ouch, that's really ear piercing. As I did when I turned this up way too loud. And also it just seems to be pretty hot audio. That might be a little too little at 8K, so we're going to turn that back up a tad. And I think 16 can probably stay a little higher too. So we can get those. It's a lot of ambience, a lot of wind noise and stuff. Hey, how you doing, La Doña? It's nice to see you again. Remember you from last time. Glad to see you join us. What we're doing today is making some EQ presets for some different games. And I'm just talking about my process. The first game we're doing is Escape from Tarkov. So I'm just taking a listen. I don't have access to the closed beta, unfortunately, so I'm just taking a listen to the game a little bit to do some tuning. Oh, nice, Tyler. Glad to hear it. That's awesome news. Yeah, so that's a good question, Marion. So my take on EQ, coming from the pro world, you're generally taught to only cut. And the reason for that is that you want to make sure that you're not, oops, that's not what I meant to do, is that you want to make sure that you're not using up too much bandwidth. And what I mean by that is you only have a certain amount of bandwidth which an audio signal, say a sine wave or whatever, excuse me, is going to fit. So what you want to make sure you do is always fit your cuts and boosts within that. You can always boost the whole frequency afterwards. So you can always make things louder, but you can only make things louder to a certain point. So if you basically only cut in when you're EQing, you can then boost everything back up, and it makes the best use of your bandwidth, right? It's going to make sure that you're not getting distortion. And so essentially what Penrose does is it's kind of smart in the way that it will turn down your audio. So if I boost the bass way up, that's going to use a lot of bandwidth. And you guys can't hear it, but my headphones are really quiet now, but there's like a ton of rumbly stuff, right? So instead of doing that and making all the other frequencies real quiet, right, basically what the Penrose does is it turns all those other frequencies down to compensate for how much of this I'm getting. What you're going to want to do instead is actually just turn these other frequencies down so that it doesn't make the headset a bunch quieter, and you're making best use of your gain structure within the amplifier that's in the headset that way as well. So always cut with EQ generally with Penrose because it has an auto gain function to keep it from distorting. That's going to keep noise low, distortion low. It's going to give you the best sound. So I turned down 2K a little because it was a little bitey, a little too much mid-range energy. We didn't need quite that much for the guns. Audeze headphones that have made you the most. To answer your question, Ladonia, i4s. Hey, Gigabyte. So, yeah, I mean, 10-band EQ is, I think, more than most people offer, but I'll pass the suggestion along. I think most people, especially gamers, are not as maybe familiar with how EQ works. So, you know, we don't want to overwhelm people with too many options, but I'll pass the suggestion along to the dev team, certainly. Yeah, there's a lot of, I don't know if you guys can hear this, but there's a lot of stuff at 1K. You can't hear me EQing it, but there's a lot of energy at 1K happening. That wind noise that's going on, that's all at 1K. And it's a little distracting, honestly. Let me go back to that gunshot sound. It was here-ish, I think. Right there is like, that's too muted. That's like present, but a little less. That's like pretty easy to hear. I'm gonna turn it down to 2 dB and we'll see if we like that. Need more gunshot sounds. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Marion. Thanks for stopping by the way. It's good, always good to see you on these streams. I just missed the gunshot sound. Which, this is great. We've got a shotgun now, I think, so it's a little different. Much more low frequency energy to the sounds. Yeah, so I don't think we need to really cut anything at 500. I might add actually something at 125. That's something our ballistics preset does. It adds a little weight to ballistics, but I think also what it does in this game is it balances out. And you hear that shotgun shot again. Oh, we did right this one. It balances out the weight of the gunshot sounds with the treble, because obviously, as for anyone who was here at the beginning of the stream, you heard it was like really, really loud. And we still want to be able to hear it, but we don't want it to be ear-piercingly loud. We want it to be like just easy to hear. I think that was a nice level, just 1 dB up. I'll talk about cutting more later, but for now I'm just going to kind of get my curve that I want. We'll probably even this out. This is a little lumpy looking, but... And sometimes a good strategy, too, when you're creating EQs is to cut all the way and notice what's missing and then bring it back up to a level that feels like it's good. If you boost too much, the auto gain will kick in and you won't be able to hear anything other than that one frequency. Which can be a useful way to isolate things as well. That was actually some good sound. Let's listen to that again. Could be a useful way to isolate things. Equalizer APO for 2 years. Yeah, yeah. Equalizer APO actually is a good suggestion for someone who asked about EQing earlier. And I believe Equalizer APO will work across the different games in your setup. I'm going to actually boost this by like 1 or 2 dB just to balance out some of our other stuff. I don't think we need to touch the real low frequencies. I didn't really hear anything super wacky there. Yeah, super useful. Yeah, so notch filter, are you notching it up or down? Well, I suppose if it's notched, generally it's still a bit bright, honestly. I'm going to turn these down 1 each. I'm going to take the whole thing down, actually, by dB, so that... by 2 dB. No, by 1 dB, sorry. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the whole EQ down so that I can get more bandwidth. Again, I'm trying to work around the auto gain function, which is designed to protect your ears so you don't blow things out and distort everything. But yes, equalizer APO is also very useful. And notching at 1K, what you're doing is you're basically taking out a critical mid-range frequency. So if I were to do this, I don't hear any of that background noise that they have built into the game, which maybe actually is a little distracting to an esports player. What do you guys think? I don't know. I used to be a way better FPS player, but I haven't done as much recently. Actually kind of do like it a little bit lower. It is a little easier to hear things. Especially high frequency stuff. So thank you for that, Gigabyte. That was kind of elicited a useful thought in my brain. What you're doing when you're taking out that 1K, which is that's kind of a sacred frequency in audio. Yeah, I like that. -5. That's like a sacred frequency in audio where like you don't cut it, you don't boost it, you're not supposed to touch it. But that's, what it is it's speech level frequency, right? That's where a lot of speech level, a lot of mid-range things, a lot of human noises are, because that's where ears tend to be pretty sensitive. That's a weird animation. Slightly uncomfortable. Kind of mild ASMR sounds going on here. Let me boost that 16K back up a little bit. I'm going to also, again, bring everything down just a tad, because I don't want to have any boosts in my profile. The sound design in this game, by the way, is extremely good. It's very raw and like close to the metal and like not super processed sounding. Like when he swallowed those pills, I could hear it was like it was almost gross how detailed it was. It was like, ugh. Yuck. But cool. It's cool that someone has done a game like this that's so hyper detailed. I think that's starting to sound kind of good. This still seems lumpy here. It's still a little bit ear piercing. Also, something going on at super high frequencies that I don't care for. It's kind of ouch. So I'm going to draw that down again. See what we get. This 2K might have to come down. We'll see. Let's see what we get. Looks like there might be some more action here. Let's see if we can hear anything cool. I changed my mind about the 4K. This is actually a really good little sequence to hear the shooting sounds and localization in. Sometimes there was like a real high frequency sound that was kind of bothering me. It was really fatiguing on my ears. I think it might have been like 995, so I turned down the AK band a little bit and turned the 4K up. Yeah, you can hear as he turns, the gunfire moves the other way. Let me just listen to that real quick again. So that was a good sequence. Yeah, so that's where the low frequency sounds come really in handy. That low frequency gunshot, I was able to hear really well. Yeah. I don't know if I should keep the 4K a little high or a little lower. Yeah, K9, this game is like, it's like there's tons of like ambient wind noise, and it's all keyed to environmental cues. It changes when he runs past the buildings. You can hear there's like the damping of the buildings and trees and stuff like that is taken into account in the game engine. And when he turns, like there, you can hear the gunfire noises turn when he turns, like as if you were turning your head. It's really good. It's really clean audio. Might add a little 16K just to get some uber high spatial things going on there. Sometimes it's easier to tell too when you close your eyes, if like where things are located. Take 2K down, and we'll take 4K down to there. I think that might even things out a little bit. This was another good sequence. Yeah, you can hear the walls, and then when he's got a wall behind him, you can hear that the gunfire sounds different when it's coming in front of you because the wall behind him is blocking the sound or it's bouncing off. And the different materials too, like earlier he was near a tree, and it sounded different than when he's near the metal walls. I think 16 might need to be 1 dB higher. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, actually, if you have a Penrose Gigabyte, I'm going to save these presets. So we're going to save all the presets we make during the stream, and we'll put them on the website, and you'll be able to download them. So, yeah, so if you've got a Penrose, you'll be able to hear these. That's essentially what I've been working on, is making these presets for you guys so that we can have Penrose, you know, kind of EQ presets for specific games. Pretty good. Now let's try working this 1K to 500. I suspect this could be a cleaner. I like to try and make EQ curves as smooth as we can without too many funky dips, unless we really need something pulled way, way down. I like that fence noise, that rattling of the fence. That's definitely smoother when we take it up a little nicer. I'm actually going to turn this one down. That 250 band may need to be taken out just a little bit too, like that. Another game that has really good sound in this vein, Overwatch does really well. It's an older game. It's I think a Dolby implementation, but it's a really good Dolby implementation. Ooh, he died horribly. But Assassin's Creed actually has surprisingly good audio. We might do one of those games on the stream if I have one downloaded. I think I know I own them, but I don't know if I have them downloaded or if I've played the hideously long tutorials on PC. Let's get back to the gameplay. But yeah, they use sound particles for that one, which is a very cool software that breaks sound sources into little particles of sound, and you can manipulate sort of clouds of sound with really high degrees of accuracy. And one of the coolest things that I realized was when I was listening to, I think it was Origins, or maybe it was Odyssey, but I think it was Origins. And when you put a scarf over Bayek's mouth, it muffles his voice, but it also muffles his voice and how it reflects when you walk through buildings or around corners. And it would sound different based on the position of the camera in relation to the position of Bayek, which was really, really cool. That was kind of my one of my, like, wow, like, sort of, you know, when audiophile, it's like, oh, I heard stuff I've never heard in the recording. That was my, like, gamer audiophile. And I was like, oh, cool. I, like, heard a cool game interaction thing that, like, I was totally, like, shocked and hyped by, and it was really, really immersive. So that was awesome. That's a little, yeah, should be taken down 1 because it does muddy up stuff a little bit. We might take down 125 too. There's a little bit of ambiance going on there too. If you have really good headphones, you might be able to hear it. There's like a low fundamental ambience, like part of that wind noise is like mixed in around 120. It's not at 125, it's at like 100 and it's just above. It's like 150. But it's mixed in there real low, and it kind of does muddy the sound up a little bit. Might take that out. This also, this 100 to 400 hertz range is like a weird range because your ear uses time and phase difference between here and 16 or 1.6, you know, 100 hertz, 1600. And that's where your ears use time and phase differences to tell where the location of sounds are. So we're real sensitive to this mid-range. And then below that, we just use phase difference for the bass. And then above that, we just use timing difference for the treble. So there's some stuff that goes on here at this 200 hertz range that you don't want to pull too much out of it because it'll help unmuddy the sound. But your ear also needs some of that to be able to tell. Like, it gives body and weight, but it also has like something to do with the phantom image of sound. It's a crucial part of our ear's ability to locate sound. Yeah, this game, I actually just heard about this game the other day for the first time. I think I was talking to someone, maybe it was someone from Veritas's team, and I guess Veritas, I thought he was a League streamer, but I guess there's either him or someone named Veritas who's streaming Escape from Tarkov a lot now, and he is interested in Audeze headphones or something like that. So I don't know what the details of that are, but it was brought up to me, and then Jaren, who's another person on our team, was like, oh yeah, Escape from Tarkov, like, you know, I've heard about that, what is it? So I looked it up, and supposedly the audio was had a huge attention to detail. Warzone has pretty good audio too. I don't know if it's quite as hyper, like, raw and close to the metal and like super hi-fi as this kind of like realistic-y sounding, but I remember it being pretty somewhat similar to this. But yeah, this is good sound design. A lot of games in this FPS genre tend to have pretty darn good sound design too. Yeah, so if you're doing it for music, and we have a music pack here, I'll let me put it in the chat for you. Audeze.com. I'm gonna pause this. Headphones, Penrose. So yeah, during music, I'll take a frequency out, like I'll just, you know, take it completely out, and then I'll look and see, you know, where have I got it down by how much, and I'll listen and say, okay, I pulled out 1K. It's totally sucked out. Doesn't sound good. So I need to add back some 1K. And what I do, you've probably noticed me doing this, but I haven't actually explained what I'm doing. When I pull out a frequency, like I pull it all the way out and then I'm like, okay, I don't hear it. And then I bring it back up to the point where I hear it. And I'm like, okay, now I can hear it, but is it the right level? And then I bring it back up and then I might hit a point where I'm like, oh, that's too loud. And I bring it back down. I'm like, oh, that's too quiet. That's too loud. That's too quiet. That's too loud. That's too quiet. It's like, that's like the Goldilocks point. So yeah, you kind of just, it's always helpful to kind of pull it all the way to the point where you know it's gone or it's too loud or whatever. And generally quieter because you want to save your ears. But it's good to pull it out and then kind of go like overshoot little by little on each side until you get to the point where you're like, yeah, that feels right. And then I also sometimes will make judgment calls where I'll be like, I want less of this frequency because it's really easy to hear now and it's in like maybe the right place, but it's a little bright. It's like if I'm going to be playing this game for like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, I know that after a while that's going to grate on me. I'm going to pull it down 1 dB from where the right spot might be. So if the right spot is at 0 dB, I'm going to pull it down 1 dB. Sometimes, especially with high frequencies like 2, 4, 8K, because they can really ear piercing. And I would rather turn the volume on my headphone up than have the frequency be a little too high in the curve that I'm making. That's going to save your ears a lot of fatigue, and that's really important, especially in competitive gaming, because you're going to be gaming for a long time, and if your ears get fatigued, you're not going to be able to hear as well. You're not going to be able to perform as well, and that's just really important to do. That's really important for you to preserve your ears, preserve your hearing, because it's your competitive edge. You know, I know that sounds silly for me to say, but like I've played some esports and stuff like that before, back when I used to be better at video games. Anybody's watched my Overwatch streams can tell you I'm not anymore. But back when I used to play more, it was like if your ears get fatigued, you're not good. You're not going to be able to tell. It's like when your muscles get fatigued or anything like that, you just lose your edge a bit. But yeah, so that's the Penrose EQ presets. We've got these are the old Mobius presets. These weren't made by me. These were made by someone else. This was actually long before I was with Audeze. And then the popular music presets, Chris Barron's, if you've seen his videos on our YouTube channel, and myself came up with these. There may be some other people who added to this, but basically we came up with some presets for some different music genres. We can do more music genres too if you guys want. Just, make suggestions. But yeah, so that's how I do it. It's kind of like overshooting, undershooting, overshooting, undershooting until you get the right point. And then I listen to see if it's like, does it kind of annoy me a little bit, or is there like a slight brightness or a slight sharpness, or is the sound like, it's like, wow, that sounds really high def, but like, do my ears start to hurt after I hear it? I'll always turn it down by a dB or two from there. And then also, like I said, trying to get the curve to be somewhat smooth. You don't want a huge like hole somewhere in your curve, right? Because what that's going to sound like is it's going to make it all lumpy. That's going to sound like unevenness here. And you're not going to hear it as like frequencies being uneven. You're going to hear it as like just confused. It's going to be like, why does that frequency range sound weird? And it's going to be harder to tell what's going on there. So your ear latches on better to a smoother frequency response. Obviously, I've got a little bit more of a dip here. We'll take another look at that later on. But it's okay, I think, to have some dips, as long as it's, not too, like, you don't want to have everything in opposite, crazy, kooky directions. Let's see, is there any more shooting? I think we're getting close to good with this one. I'll revisit it after the stream, just to tweak it and tune it. There is some really low frequency stuff going on here with the gunshots and things like that. So I'm not going to take it out, but I'm going to take it back just a little bit because it's going to make the middle bass sounds that are actually fundamentals easier to hear. It's going to take a little bit of, it's just going to take the edge off the rumble and tighten up the bass, so the bass will be punchier and easier to hear. It's a thing we do a lot in music production. We'll like high pass the bass and or mono the bass with a high pass mid side, and like take out some of that low rumble to get things to be cleaner, punchier, so you can hear the kick more rather than the like rumble of the sub. Yeah, 2 dB down is a little less fun. It's a little less rumble, but I think it might be better if you wanted like a competitive preset. Things are just ever so slightly tighter in the soundstage. It's probably hard to hear for you guys, but it's, you know, if you're using cool headphones or you've got good monitors, you can definitely hear it. It's just a slightly tighter down at 2 dB. Let's get just a little more audio of him shooting and walking around, and I think then we'll move on to our next game. I don't... do I have Warzone? Let me check. I don't think I have Warzone. No, that's not how you spell it. No, I don't. So I don't have Warzone, but we can definitely look up some... Oh, is it even on Steam? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll just look up some video of it. We'll do it that way too. To the Penrose app, I mean, we could, but I don't think it would be necessarily useful for a lot of people. Just because like meters are generally for music production, so like you can tell if stuff's distorting. With the auto gain function on Penrose, you shouldn't be distorting anything. And also if you're always cutting your EQ, which you also, like I said, you know, should be doing cut, don't boost. Oh, that's right. It's on the Blizzard launcher. I don't think I have it installed though. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah, I don't think I have any of these installed. Yeah, I don't. But I'll look up some video of them. The video is actually useful too because you can rewind it, and instead of focusing on playing the video game, I can focus on actually tuning the EQ and talking about what I'm doing, which I think is going to be a little more interesting than watching me fumble my way through a game that I haven't played in a little while. Go watch It's Iron or Torva or someone who's actually good at Call of Duty. Who incidentally, actually both of them use Audeze headphones, so that's cool. I was just talking to It's Iron, his manager the other day. Cool guy. I think he's like the best Warzone player in the world by like 200 or 300 kills, or 200 or 300 wins, and the other people who are like right behind him are his teammates. So they kind of dominate. We're close. I might massage, like I said, I might massage this 4 to 8K. I don't know if there's more. If you don't know who you added to Steam friend list, it was me. You're probably right. I'm like terrible. I'll take a look at that later. Crickster, okay. I'll take a look at that after the stream is over, or later on in the stream. There's some more audio. I need some more shooty audio. Here we go. I see aiming. I see aim. I click. Ooh, he died horribly. Okay, I think we're like goodish for that. So I'm gonna save this one. Wow, that's tiny. Why is that tiny? Okay, whatever. The joys of a 4K monitor. We're gonna do game presets 1. Game preset 1. This is escape from Tarkov. Save that. And now what we need to do is we need to look at some Call of Duty Warzone gameplay. No talking. This should work. Insurgency Sandstorm. Yes, yeah, so to answer your question, Platinum Eccentric, this is the same as the Mobius app. So you see up here, if you click profile, you click on Mobius, you get all the cool head tracking and all that stuff. You can do the head gestures. So you have the sound profiles, which are the EQ profiles, which we've kind of replicated somewhat with the Penrose EQ. And then you get the head gesture. There's like a head gesture thingy-madoodle in here somewhere. I haven't used this in a while. They've updated it since I last used it. But anyways, yeah. So this is all the Mobius stuff. And then if you click down here, back to Penrose. Yes, yeah, so you can save these here. So I just saved this as the Warzone profile. Oh, this is a, we'll talk about that later, but positional audio, Insurgency, Sandstorm, gameplay, no commentary. Okay, cool, yeah. I'm gonna, yeah, well, let's take a listen to that real quick, because I'm not familiar with this. Insurgency, Sandstorm, 2018, nice. It's got kind of a, it's like Team Fortress graphics crossed with Counter-Strike. Yeah. Yeah, so we added there's 5 presets that are savable and loadable. As you saw, you know, when you click load, this is really tiny. I don't know why it's so tiny. I'm sorry. Pause that for a second. It's 4K monitor fun with OBS. Anyways, so these are presets. Some of these are things that I'm working on. Top secret experiments. Some of the Mobius presets, for example, right? So Ballistics, Footsteps, Racing, RPG, Warm, which are the same, roughly, as the sound profiles we've got here. So, if you're interested, that's what those are. Oh yeah, the audio in this game is really good. I might come and do a preset for that later. Let's take a quick listen though. First, I want to take a listen to, let me close that, to Warzone. Can I make this theater? Yes, I can. Optimizing stuff. Let's do that window half screen. And I want, where'd my screen go? Not that one. There we go. Okay. Expand that slightly. Oh, it's loud. iOS app for Penrose EQ in the future. Yeah, I know it's definitely on our list of things to do. I don't know anything about it yet, unfortunately. The next app we're working on is the Mac app. So we've got Windows, we've got Android, and then next up is Mac. And then once we have Mac, hopefully we'll have some more information for you about iOS. I use iOS too, so I'm looking forward to having it as much as you guys are. And I hope we can get it really soon. Yes, yeah, that is the top priority. Everything else, I believe the dev team was told, like, forget about just Mac app. So they're full Steam Mac app doing that. Again, we're, like I said, not a huge company. So, but that's where all the software resources are going right now. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking the question. I'm sorry I can't give you like a more detailed answer. I don't write the software, so that's like, I don't know the nitty-gritty details of it. But I'll give you guys updates on social and on these streams ASAP as soon as I get the information on when those things come out. So you'll be the first to know about it if you follow our stuff and show up to these. So you're well positioned to know about that as soon as it comes, as soon as it hits. Gosh, this game is ultra loud. So loud. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we try. I mean, that's our roots in... Woo! That's our roots in hi-fi and you know, pro audio and things like that. And you know, we're trying to bring that to a, you know, more affordable price point for the mainstream and gaming, because we're, you know, I'm a gamer. I love games. I know Jaren is a big gamer and writes actually music for writes music for and is also a video game composer. Chris is or not Chris, Mark in support, and Jimmy are both avid gamers as well. So we're really excited to be doing stuff in the gaming space. I noticed right away this game is not nearly as bright as Escape from Tarkov. It's loud as heck though. It's super, super loud, but not nearly as bright. Not nearly as much wind noise, ambient stuff going on. Sorry if I'm shouting. I need to turn this down. It's really loud.
Loadout drop headed your way. Okay, move.
Yeah, I think we should. We think we can drop that 2K. Again, it's just real. It's a bit bright. Maybe the 2K more than the 4K. That was a good bit of sound there, where the guy's running around him. You can hear it running around his head. Yeah, taking out some 1K actually helps with that. I'm going to keep the 16 up high, because actually the high end on this game is not ultra bright. Like the other game had just very unfiltered audio. This game, to me, sounds like the sound design has been filtered a little bit. They've taken out some of the crazy high stuff and crazy low stuff. There's like a slight annoying thing going on really high in frequency.
Enemy UAV overhead.
I'll turn all these down by 1. So I want a little bit of a curve there. Let me listen to that again. I think the -2 is right. Yeah, so we've got a little bit of curve here. Again, you know, we're keeping in some of the more high, super high frequencies. We're not quite pulling out as much between 1 and 4K as Tarkov, because again, there's just not as much, you know, high frequency and mid-range gunk. Not that it's gunk, just stuff going on. It's not nearly as bright. On Mobius, it depends. So, if you're working with like VR ambisonics audio or things like that, it's super useful, obviously, because you can hear the head tracking movement in real time. I know Pixelogic uses our Mobius headphones to do QC for Netflix surround sound mixes. And because they can do it without having to build a bunch of surround studios, they can do it for you know, for a lot less expensive with a headphone. And I know Eric Labson, who does a lot of VR and ambisonics audio for like games and VR games and things like that, also uses the Mobius. So yeah, you can certainly use it for that. Will EQ profiles be brought to Mobius? I don't know. That's a good question. Let me ask about that. We have a team meeting every day, so I will add that to my list of things that I ask about during the team meeting. I mean, the next one's gonna be on Monday, but I'll ask about that on Monday, and I'll see if I can get a response and see what's going on. I know that there's some, you know, people who've been asking about Mobius updates. I don't know about those yet. Unfortunately, we've been trying to just, you know, make sure that the Penrose is, you know, fully supported and everybody's, you know, getting their Penroses and all that kind of stuff. But I will ask about that. I think like a -2 there, actually, surprisingly. Normally I make this a smooth, you know, only 1 dB steps, but I actually kind of like that there. There's a lot of bass, too. I think there might be too much bass. I think I might keep that all the way up. There's a ton of information in that band. I'm actually going to do this. Let's see what we get. There's like a ton of stuff going on in this 60 hertz band. Oh, oh my gosh! Thank you for tuning in, Gigabyte. That's like so amazing. And yeah, it's absolutely go to bed. Like, please get some sleep. Also, Poland is like I've heard that there's a lot of cool audio stuff going on in Poland right now. So it's very exciting to hear from folks in Poland. I know there's a lot of people in the audio industry have been talking about a big hi-fi show. I mean, obviously non-COVID times that was going on in Poland. So that's cool to hear. But yeah, hopefully you found the stream helpful and interesting. And Pacific time, we stream Pacific time at 1 on Wednesdays, which might be a little more reasonable your time, and then obviously 3 o'clock on Fridays. So if you're curious, check them out. The Wednesday one might be a little more reasonable your time. Maybe still a little bit late, but. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know what the plans are for that. I would email support and see what they have to say about it. They might know more about me, know more about it than me. But the mics will work. It's just an aux mic input, so you could put any headset mic in there and it would work. If you have the Mobius, I mean, I would say that unless you want the specific EQ presets, I think we might have too little at 250. Unless you want the specific EQ presets or you want the wireless functionality, you know, the Mobius is great. The cool thing about Penrose is that you get low latency wireless. Maybe like there. It's a really this game is much more rumbly, so that's actually interesting. It's quite a bit different from Escape from Tarkov. It's
Up next, mate. Get ready.
It's got a lot more bass, makes it a lot darker. Yeah, I would say email support@audeze.com about the Penrose stuff, about the Penrose mic being compatible with the Mobius. For me, if I had a Mobius, unless I was really looking for low latency wireless or the EQ functionality or something like that, I would, you know, stick with the Mobius. If I was looking for those, though, I would definitely go with the Penrose. And if I was a console gamer, you know, especially if I was an FPS console gamer, and again, looking for that really low latency performance and didn't want to mess around with wires, then Penrose all the way. I use my Penrose in my consoles, and I love it. I love being able to do wireless. I do use my Mobius also with my consoles plugged in via USB. If I want to have, you know, a really immersive experience playing RPGs or something like that. So both great headsets, but that's kind of my take on them personally. Yeah, hopefully that's helpful. I think 125. We need to massage a little too.
Hold on. Cancel that.
So yeah, this preset is starting to look a little different than the Escape from Tarkov one. I think that one might actually image slightly better, even though it's not quite as fun, not quite as bassy.
UAV overhead.
Too much at 500. Yeah, thank you. I will make some presets for those as well. Tomb Raider and yeah, Gears of War has the good Atmos sound. I know Overwatch uses Atmos, and Call of Duty was one of the first to use Atmos as well. Huh, I actually like more 500K in this than I thought I would. Call of Duty was one of the first to use Atmos for their game audio mixes back in Call of Duty 3 days or something like really early. So they were at the forefront of that for a long time. My hobby is setting and hearing audio stuff. Oh, nice. Very cool. Well, you're in the right place. We like to talk about all that stuff, and we're nerds about it. So hopefully you find this at least somewhat interesting, and thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I can't remember if it was 3 or if it was the first Modern Warfare, but it was one of the early Call of Duties that used really early Dolby Atmos for headphones. Actually gonna turn it up one notch. Yeah, and then as I mentioned, Overwatch actually has a pretty good implementation. It's very simple, but it's effective. I don't know about Fortnite, but that might be one to look into. I guess it's not FPS, but sometimes third-person games have pretty good audio too. It's become a big part of a lot of the Battle Royale games. That was a good bit of audio. The Jeep, like, flying, going under the building. It's pretty crystal clear where it is, at least through this preset. It's a little weird. I wasn't expecting the base to be quite so hot here. You can hear the little footsteps just there. On the right-hand side is his teammate walking behind him, like sort of back and left or back and right. Yeah, I like this. We're gonna let's take a listen to just the second one. Oh gosh. Oh, this is all silly stuff. Okay, we're not gonna do that. As much as I like silly stuff. Fortnite has positional audio, but I think it's very poor. And then COD versus CS:GO. Yeah, that's fair. Let's take a listen to this Insurgency Sandstorm, actually, because I'm curious about this. I have heard of this game, but I'm really not super familiar with it. This was COD Warzone. And if you guys were wondering about this one where I have everything set to negative 3 dB, what this one was supposed to be basically if I have a preset that I've done where I've boosted things a lot, this is supposed to put basically everything down 3 dB so I don't have to touch the scroll wheel to reduce the volume, so that I can compare a preset where maybe I've had to boost and I don't feel like turning everything down to a preset. Like it's just volume equalization preset. So I can just compare easily, negative 3 dB down versus, flat. And I always like to keep one flat, one maybe negative 3, and then I'll work on 1 and 2 and save that one. So, just useful when you're making presets if you like to do it that way. Generally, I only cut, so I don't need it too much. These presets look fairly similar, which you might expect because, Escape from Tarkov and COD Warzone, both FPS games, kind of going to have a similar curve to them. Slight difference, obviously, here in the upper treble with Warzone, which is a much bassier game, doesn't have as much super high treble stuff. And then Tarkov really has a big scoop out in these mid-range and treble frequencies because it's got a ton of that ambience and like really a ton of high frequency sounds. So, but you can see both same. If you were to draw a line through roughly the middle of all these points, it would be about the same. So I've got the loudness, in the same place for both of them. So I could compare these two and hear how they're different really easily without the volume going up or down a ton. So I'm working around the auto gain function in the Penrose that way. Yeah, let's take a listen to some Insurgency. I think, what time is it? It is 4:16. So we'll stream for maybe another 15 minutes. If you guys have any specific other games you want me to do, let me know. And I'm happy to do them. I might, like I said, take a stab at like Overwatch or something else. Or we could even do, what might be actually cool is to do like Skyrim or something like that, like do an RPG or a game like that that's not necessarily an FPS, and we can see how, that would be different. But for now, let's do Insurgency. But if you guys have games that you think of that you want me to do or suggestions, I'll try and get to them. And if not today, then we can always get to them on another stream as well. Ooh. This person, whoever this player is extremely grenade happy. Lots of grenades. This game has rockin' bass. It's huge. It's epic. Oh, YouTube video's a little quiet. Yeah, I can turn it up. Is that better, Gigabyte? I had it turned down because Escape from Tarkov was really loud. And Warzone was really loud as well. Cool. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Sometimes I just turn it down because I'm noticing that the Escape from Tarkov especially was like blowing out the audio levels on OBS, so I didn't want it to be like hellishly loud for you guys on stream. A lot of stuff blows up in this game. It's like non-stop. This one's easier to do because there's non-stop audio, which is kind of nice. Yeah. So this one, we might scoop. Yeah. The like brrr sound of the machine guns. Yeah. It's really good. Interestingly enough, I'm pulling out more mid-range on this one than I was on the other ones, right? Where I was leaving the 500 hertz more open. That's kind of interesting to me. Oh yeah, yeah, when the Air Force comes up. Yeah. This game sounds really good even with the flat EQ. Like, I'm listening to it now, and it's really good. Even with the flat EQ. Like, this game's audio, to me, is mixed perfectly. Like, just by itself is perfect. This, to me, because there's a lot of bass in this game, which is, I love, it's cool. Takes just a little bit out of that. It does clear it out just a little bit, but it almost doesn't even need it. Yeah, it almost doesn't even need the scoop outs at all. They did a good job of not making the audio ear piercing, but like loud and impactful. They pushed the, you know, the sounds that are supposed to thump and punch like down further into the mid range than Warzone or Tarkov. You just whipped C4 at that dude. Jesus. Yeah. I might take out a little more bass. Why some motivators use to let it free, but others don't? I don't know. That's a good question, actually. I'm gonna email support@audeze.com. Email support@audeze.com and ask them that question. That's been something that they've done well before I ever joined the company. So I actually don't know. That's a good question. And I would definitely email support because they might know better than I would. It might be availability or something, or like some of our headphones do have slightly different ear pads than others. happens if I take out all the bass? Low bass. Slightly less sexy sounding. But definitely a little clearer. Yeah. I like the bass a little bit higher. Am I too much of a bass head? He broke the plate. That's funny. Whoever's playing this, I like Skazo. Yeah. God, this game sounds so good. I'm curious too. What's in this person's setup? Skazo. Headphones. Oh wow, he's using biodynamics, so he's got pretty good headphones. Good on him. With a FiO. Nice. I used to have one of these. Great unit. Great little unit. HyperX Alloy Elite. I think that's the keyboard I have. Nice. We got a cool setup. I'm into it. Metal rooms, but you can hear it in the other map. Okay. Let me see if he plays the other map in this one. Here we go. I don't think we need the extra 8K, actually. He shot like a stormtrooper there. He like outlined the dude in bullets perfectly. That's funny. Yeah, man, this game has really good. This is really good audio. I have the, which one is it? HyperX. Let me look it up. I'm typing on it now, and I don't remember which one it is. It's the HyperX. Alloy Origins? Yeah, this one. The Alloy Origins. I like it because it's got the sort of half, it's like the half depth switches that are quieter. Mine has the numpad because I like it. But yeah, I think this preset sounds good. This game really doesn't need much of a preset, but this one does make it slightly clearer. Insurgency Sandstorm. Spelled that right, I think. It's ultra tiny. Supposedly I have 20/20 vision. Might give you issues it didn't sound good. Oh, sorry to hear that. Hopefully the Penrose is treating you a little bit better in that regard. If you have one. I assume you have one if you're here or are looking at one. Let's see, we've done COD Warzone, Tarkov, Insurgency. What should we do next? Oh, it's talking about headphones. Okay. Yeah. The HyperX. Yeah. Hopefully either way, if you have a Penrose, it's treating you a little better in the mic department. We did work hard on the mic with Shure to get a better sounding mic. Let's do. What game should we do, guys? Let's see what people had. People made some suggestions. I know there was CS:GO. I saw. Oh, it's like it's 4:30 already. No, you're fine. You're fine. It's always hard to like watch the game, try and be thinking about EQ and talking about it, and then watching the chat. I get so tongue-tied. Plus, it's Friday, so my brain is a little bit like Burger King, just deep fried. Oh, Rocket League. I like that one. That one should be quick, actually. Let's do that. I can not type, apparently, also. Yeah. I actually haven't really played a lot of Rocket League. Well, let's yeah. I'll take a listen and we'll see what we get. Let's load up. Actually, I'm curious to see if this will work. Mobius presets, racing. I just want to see what the racing one is. So broad boost, and then this one is flat. Is this one flat? I'm gonna reset this one to flat. And I'm just gonna compare these two. Oh, okay. Yeah, the stream is just me making some Penrose presets for specific games. So I've been meaning to do it for a while, and people have been asking me about the process as well. So I figured I would just put it on display. Also, of course, you know, we stream 1 p.m. every Wednesday and 3 p.m. every Friday. So if you have questions about other general Audeze stuff and things like that, I'm happy to answer it to the best of my ability, or chit chat about headphones, nerdy headphone stuff, games, any of that other stuff, music production. All that stuff is all fair game. I mean, you can ask any question you want. I don't know if I'll always have an answer for it, but Audeze related stuff, I'll try to have as many answers as I can. But yeah, this one I've been meaning to make these, and people have been asking about the process. So I was like, well, let's just put it on display. Nobody wants to watch me play more Overwatch poorly anyways. So yeah, that's kind of my shtick today. Yeah, I think we could do something with this. So one thing I noticed, actually I'm going to get rid of this racing preset. I don't think we need it. Latest video about Rocket League because they improved audio and audio settings like cinema mode, etc. When does this video come out? It's 2015. Oh, okay, let's do Rocket League 2021 gameplay. They're talking. Streamed 3 days ago. That should work. Let's get some gameplay. There's no audio. Okay. 2 months ago, maybe? There we go. This sounds the same to me, honestly, as the other one. This one actually sounds like it has slightly better audio. But yeah, the audio on this one sounds fine. Now, the other thing, too, is it's not just about, like, positional audio and things like that. Sometimes just sound design of a game and the music and things like that can provide a more immersive sense of the game, even with just a stereo mix. So these EQ presets will even work for games like RPGs or, you know, 8-bit games, racing games, stuff like that. So it's not just about, you know, positional audio locating people in an FPS game to shoot them quicker. You know, it can enhance the sense of immersion with other games and stuff like that. So there's a lot of use for this kind of a preset because it'll work with any of those. It doesn't really matter what the game, you know, whether the game has super advanced spatial audio or not. It'll still help the experience. So what I noticed is there's a lot of, this is not a trebly game, there's a lot of bass. I like those little bubble sound effects. Hunt Showdown? Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely check out that game. Let me write that down. Just take a note. Hunt Showdown. Cool. And I think also Hellblade had really good binaural audio, which is kind of cool. We might do one for that. I know not a lot of people play that because it's just like an artsy indie puzzle game, but it'd be cool to do one for it just to show how to make them. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's binaural. Binaural and headphone, not always true binaural, but like binaural and pseudo binaural and headphone assigned things can be really cool. I actually have some binaural microphones around here, so I should maybe should play around with those on stream or on a video sometime. This would be cool. I'm a little bit of a glutton for like sub bass sometimes, so sometimes I turn up 32 hertz too much and it's too rumbly. Not too rumbly, but it's just like it's a lot, and it's probably not the most balanced. I tend to listen to my games quieter than most people though, so I could probably turn this up one and then maybe turn it down a little on the stream. Yeah, I tend to listen a little quieter than most people. There's like a little high frequency thing that I'm trying to figure out which frequency it's at, because it's kind of annoying that when he gets the goal. Right there. Yeah, it's at 2K. Yes, I will check Hunt Showdown. Sounds like a fun game. I think I've heard of it too. Let me just look it up real quick. Hunt Showdown. Yes. Yeah, I remember this game. Yeah, I don't know much about it, but I've definitely heard of it. Oh, I might have seen Rooster Teeth or someone like that, some streamer or something playing it. But yeah, I will take a look at that one, and maybe do a preset for that. It's almost time to end the stream. Let me just finish up this Rocket League preset real quick. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I've definitely seen some stuff about it. I don't know a ton about it. Ah, early access. That makes sense. Oopsie. This is a tricky one. I'm gonna have to come back to this one because this one has a lot of like low frequency, like low, mid, murky, bubbly, splooshy, explodey sounds. I don't know if this video is necessarily the best audio of this game, but we'll save this one as Rocket League Whip work in progress. But yeah, so that's what we've got so far. Anyways, it is time for me to depart, unfortunately. I had a lot of fun this time, though. Thank you guys for stopping by. If you're curious about the presets for Audeze HQ for Penrose, there's the link. And you can also find them on our website if you go to Audeze Headphones, Penrose, and then scroll all the way to the bottom and click on the presets page right here. So that's where you can find them. Click on them here. You click here. When you click on these, you'll download a little zip file. Just unpack that, and then you should be able to just load them up wherever you keep the Penrose presets. So that's where those will be. Check them out. Take them for a spin. See what you think. I'll load up some of the presets I've made here. I'll finish off some of these and put them up. We'll also put up other games. If you guys have requests, I know there was a Battlefield request. Someone made an Overwatch request. There was even, we had an RTS and an RPG request. I can't remember what they were, but if you remember what they were, contact us on social media. And, Instagram is the best way, Audeze official, and let me know. I do read the messages and, or comment on this video when it gets bumped to YouTube, and let us know what games you'd like to see tuned. And I will, do more presets. Yes, I will check out Hunt Showdown in the next live stream. Just ran out of time here, unfortunately, so I apologize about that. But yeah, we'll check out Hunt Showdown. I added it to the list. I've got a little list of games that you guys have been suggesting. I can show you here. Hellblade, Hunt Showdown. I think someone recommended CSGO. So that's not CSGO. CSGO. Woo! It's been a long day. Sorry, everyone. So yeah, I will check those out. It's on my list. And yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend wherever you are in the world. Get some sleep. 11 gigabyte, 111 gigabyte. You need some sleep. It's late in Poland. And yeah, thanks for stopping by, everybody. If you like this, 1 p.m. Wednesdays, 3 p.m. on Fridays. Oh, and also after this, Torva, who is an Audeze Twitch partner, uses GX headphones, I believe, at the moment. Amazing Warzone player, has one of the best KD ratios in the game, is streaming in about 20 minutes. And we'll be auto-hosting that on our channel, so you can either check it out here or head over to Torva on Twitch. So yeah, check those channels out, and thanks so much for stopping by.